and good morning. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Laura Jackson and I am the Event and Membership and Marketing Director for Flacos. We are very excited for this next installment in our webinar series. This webinar is on medication management and adherence in the chronic ACO population. We're very excited to have Sean McCormick and Jake Keynes present to us today. They are with Curant Health, a new business partner of ours, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jake and Sean.
Great. Well, thanks, Laura. This is Sean McCormick with Curant Health. I want to thank everyone for attending, and good morning. Briefly, what we're going to be doing is going through this presentation. As you can see, the slide on the screen has our goals and objectives. So out of respect for your time, we're going to try to keep this to about 20, 25 minutes, and then we'll open it up to any questions and answers for the remainder of our time. So once again, thanks for joining. Today's goals and objectives is we're going to quickly review the ACO landscape. We're going to quickly review the quality domains and quality measures and the relevance that medication management has to those specific measures. We'll review barriers and impact of medication non-adherence. We'll review how Curant Health's services portfolio and how it applies to medication management and adherence. We'll review some documented clinical results of what medication adherence programs can do, and we'll review how Curant Health implements its solutions with our customer accounts. So, first of all, looking at the ACO landscape, I think this is pretty exciting. We're involved in an alternative payment model that is certainly growing with momentum. I think our healthcare system is definitely heading in the right direction. As you can see, the growth over the last a couple of years has been dramatic. And as I go on to the next slide, you can see, I think this is even more dramatic, where the market is projected to be by in just 4 years from now, in 2020, as many as 72 million or even more predicted lives will fall under an accountable care organization. So I think this is exciting. This is here to stay, and I think all of us involved today, certainly congratulations on stepping into a market in a world where we are the leaders and the pioneers of what's going to happen for years to come. When you look at the specific quality measures, we think we're built to work with ACOs to exceed your expectations. When you look at the quality domains of patient caregiver experience, care coordination and patient safety, preventative health, and perhaps most important, your at-risk populations, which are listed there. When you look at medication management and adherence in these chronic at-risk populations, we can specifically address, 16 of the 33 quality measures have some link to medication management and adherence, and that's significant. And when you look at the benchmarks of all-cause unplanned admissions that are coming in the future with new ACO quality measures for these at-risk populations, once again, medication management and adherence has a direct effect on reaching and exceeding these benchmarks. So, who we are, basically, when you look at medication management, this is what we're built to do, is to break down those barriers that keep these patients from remaining on their medication. We know the data is very clear that, for every 100 patients prescribed a new prescription, only 75 will actually take it to a pharmacy, 50 will have it filled, and 25 will still be taking that medication after 4 months. And then if you fast forward to just a year, literally 10% of those prescriptions will continue to be filled. And that's a significant issue. When you look at the impact of non-adherence, 30 to 50% of U.S. adults are non-adherent to long-term medications. This has a significant effect on morbidity and mortality. 700,000 Americans will experience some adverse effect to prescribed drugs that require an ER visit or even hospital admission. And the results on the U.S. healthcare system are really economically staggering. Between $100 and $289 billion is directly attributed to medication non-adherence. So if there's an area that we can help move the needle quicker than anything, is to get these patients to stay on their medication, stay engaged, stay educated, and motivated to do so. When you look at the medication adherence barriers, some of these are fairly obvious and some not so much, a little bit more subtle, but they exist. And at Curant, we have built our health services portfolio around driving down all of these barriers. And some of them can be psychosocial, they can be stigma, driving to the pharmacy, not getting that refill reminder, just something simple as a retail pharmacy not having the drug in stock, financial considerations. There's a whole plethora that are listed here that certainly are barriers for patients not to remain on their medication. It's a costly issue. When you look at, say, statin treatment, 25 to 50% of patients will discontinue their statin medication within 1 year. And we know that that has a direct effect on our quality measures with hypertension and heart failure. You look at 12 to 25% of non-adherence rates to cardioprotective medications, which increases the risk of these hospitalizations by 10 to 40%, and mortality rates by as much as 50 to 80%. Significant, and that is directly going to affect the benchmarks that we have in place for our ACOs. So we, in 3 words, really describes what we do. It's innovative medication management, and we are the national leader in improving the lives of in-home patients suffering from chronic diseases. The patients that we serve, literally it's that 10%, it's the patients with at least one chronic condition that are on 5 or more polypharmacy that make up, as much as 80 to 85% of the healthcare spend. That's the patients that we're built to serve. So it's not everybody. It's not that acute patient that's, taking their acute exacerbation of chronic bronchitis. It's the chronic patient on 5 or more medications. These are the folks that are non-adherent. These are the folks that are showing up at the ER in the hospital that are the significant drag on the system. So what we do, we facilitate healthcare's transition from, going from fee for service to value, and our model is all about patient fulfillment. And that's at the center of our model, which I'm going to show you here on the next slide. This is how we do it. So in the middle of our focus, and what we're all about, is the patient fulfillment. It's all about the patient, getting them engaged, getting them educated and motivated to stay on their medication, and stay healthy and stay out of the acute care institution. So how we do it and what we do, this is it. So there's 5 key core capabilities that make up our patient fulfillment model. The first is patient services. What patient services is, it's a personalized support system of patient care coordinators that are individualized to that patient. So this is not a call center where a patient is, whoever's available talks to the patient. Our patients actually have a personal care coordinator where they get a picture on a business card of who that patient is. They're individually assigned, they're dedicated. They provide the financial support resources to identify any manufacturer copay cards or government grants or discounts. Our whole goal at Curant is to build trust with our patients. And the best way to do that is to immediately help them with any type of copay assistance we can do. We take care of all prior authorization and reauthorization services, refill reminders. And at this stage, we're beginning to reconcile and synchronize all of their prescriptions. And so this is really the front line of our service is what we call patient services with patient care coordinators. That leads me into our second bucket of services or core capabilities, which now is the healthcare provider services. The reason why this is important, and I think this is really one of the most important things that we do, is that we know that our patients usually see 2 primary care clinicians and 5 specialists each year, and sometimes more than that. In the typical Medicare primary care clinician coordinates with 229 other clinicians in 117 practices. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You know, we try to fill that border in from the outside in, and it's something we're very, very good at. It takes a little bit of time because what the patient self-reports, what the providers tell us, and what the pharmacies that they're seeing tell us, they never add up. And so we have to make sense of that. And we have to start to reconcile and synchronize all of that data. And it's a wonderful service. It's a time-intensive service, but we have to get everybody on the same sheet of music. Every month we encounter hundreds of errors that we fix. I can tell you we've had patients recently. We had one patient that was on 3 different blood thinners from 3 different physicians. And that's, you'd like to say that that's the exception rather than the rule, but we see this all the time. So it's something that we take great pride in doing, and we put a lot of effort and resources into this, our healthcare provider services, to reconcile and stack hands and get everybody level set. And so these are some of the services that I just mentioned. We document all our communication on medication-related issues, whether it's a patient care provider or a clinical pharmacist. We aggregate and assess the data from multiple sources, providers, and plans, and we become an extension of your team. We do prior authorization assistance, and of course, patient medication education is a big part of what we do as well. So that leads me into our next core capability, which is medication therapy management. You may have heard this term was coined back in 2006 with the prescription Part D drug plans. But medication therapy management is something that's very intensive for us. We have full-time clinical pharmacists on board that are trained in motivational interviewing. It's not a postcard. It's not an automated voice reminder. This is a real person talking to a real patient on any issues that relate to drug interactions, safety concerns, duplicate prescriptions. And we document all of our encounters in our Pharma Analytic platform, which is our next capability. But this is a key thing that Huron does, and we do it very, very well. So part of MTM is we have a medication action plan, a medication therapy review. We do ongoing patient consultations with clinical pharmacists. Not every patient requires service, but many of the patients do. And some of our customers want MTM for all of their disease states. Some just want it for certain patient populations. Maybe it's heart failure that you're struggling with, and we'll have an MTM trigger for certain disease states. So it just depends on what our customers want. There's some customers that let us just decide who gets MTM and who doesn't. So we're very flexible here, but it's a wonderful service that really helps raise the bar as far as adherence goes. Our Pharma Analytic platform, it's an award-winning web-based platform called MedPlan. It's a Microsoft Dynamics CMR platform. Everything is documented here with every patient encounter. Like I said, whether it's a patient care coordinator, an LPN, whether it's a clinical pharmacist, and that gives you the visibility into ongoing patient medication adherence and the data to identify, additional medication support needs for patients that need that service. And finally, our last capability, of course, is pharmacy fulfillment. We do have two full-service pharmacies, which we can provide medications throughout all 50 states. We do this as a free service to you and your patients. It's free home delivery by FedEx or UPS. And our pharmacy is one of 6 in the country, independent, that's URAC and VIP certified. We believe in customized adherence packaging. We individualize to each patient. And our goal, even though it may take us a little bit of time, is to get all of the scheduled medications down to once a month delivery. So it's a huge advantage rather than that patient that, especially maybe in a rural area, or they have to go to the pharmacy 3 or 4 times a month. Their medications aren't synchronized. The adherence packaging has huge advantages. It allows us to track adherence, possession ratios. Our pharmacists are available 24/7. And some of the customized packaging benefits are pretty clear. We know it's a safety benefit. The patient gets the correct medication at the proper time. There's no double dosing or missed doses. And blister packaging literally saves lives. It improves adherence. It's easy to see if the medications were taken and there are any missed doses. We know when we call a patient for a refill and they say they still have 20 pills left on one of their medications, that we probably have an issue and we needed to address that issue. So professional monitoring. The pharmacy staff will fill the prescriptions for you and call you if you forget to pick you up, or deliver on your scheduled days. It's convenient. No more fussing or organizing your medications on your own. In patients that are on 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 medications, it really can be a nightmare to organize those medications, especially if they have any behavioral issues going on or memory issues. And it's a drain on the caregivers as well. So it's a big convenience benefit as well. So for our clinical advances, we've got numerous clinical publications on what medication adherence can do if it's done correctly. This was a 2010 trial we did with the country's largest home health through Purdue University. It's about 1,200 patients in 40 different home health centers. And basically, after 60 days, we reduced hospital admissions across all 4 quartiles by an average of 30%. And that's significant. Imagine what 30% less readmissions will do for you with your ACO. And we identified, what I think is most interesting here is, just in 2 months, we identified 460 significant medication-related problems that we were able to fix 90% of those. In another publication from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and their HIV population, this was 64 patients, and after 6 months, adherence increased 28%, and CD4 cell count increased 38%. And the percent of patients whose viral loads were considered non-detectable increased from 28 to 66%. But what I think most powerful is the number of patients that achieved greater than 95% adherence increased by almost 70%. And then in another review in 2013, we compared our services to your retail pharmacy. And our adherence rates were 88% compared to 53% for retail. And monthly possession rates of medications were 97% compared to 82%. Ongoing clinical innovations. I guess the word has gotten out at how well we do what we do, because we've had Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic come knocking on our door this past year to get involved in a couple clinical trials with both of them. So at Johns Hopkins, this is an inflammatory bowel disease clinical trial. It's the first ever clinical trial in the U.S. measuring long-term adherence in this patient population. Their goal is to measure their standard of care and our services. In addition, is there synergy? Is there even an increase in clinical outcomes? And the interim analysis shows that there is. It's called the ALIVE trial, and it's obviously soon to be published. With the Mayo Clinic, we're looking at the same patient population, but they're looking at a different endpoint. They're looking at quantifying the time saved by in-clinic providers when using medication management services for these patients. So they've noticed a lot of times that their clinicians are doing functions that maybe a nurse practitioner or a PA would normally do, and a PA is doing things that a nurse would normally do, and a nurse is doing clerical things. So they want to ladder that back up, and they're seeing that if our services can help them achieve those goals. And then with Northwestern University and the University of Chicago, once again, an inflammatory bowel disease patient population, It's the first ever multi-site clinical trial assigning a medical algorithm solely for biologics based on blood levels and lab data. So it's actually using a medication, I believe, that's off-label to see if they can document better results. So Curant over the last few years has grown exponentially. 3 consecutive years, we've been in the Georgia Fast Four and Atlanta Business Chronicle Pacesetter Awards each of those years, and we were referenced on the Inc. 500, 5,000 list. We're focused on quality and patient care. When you look at our customers, the average for these disease states and adherence is 4.56. I think that's fairly impressive when you consider that you know, many times a 3 is considered okay, doing well. But when you can get into the 4.5 range, you're truly in rarefied air. And I think this is a testament to the work that we can do through our services. And in summary, once again, going back to our model, I think this is a good visual to kind of put it in perspective. We're very flexible. One of our customers has an individualized statement of work based on what their needs are. So sometimes it's more heavily on medication management, where we're going to pull this lever a little bit more than another lever. We're going to use maybe a little bit less enhanced MTM or pharma analytics, where if we get into care management, we're without so much pharmacy fulfillment, we're a little bit more heavy on the MTM and the analytics. Or when you get into comprehensive patient management, which is using our complete services, pharmacy fulfillment and all the other things that we do, we certainly can do that too. So some of our customers push all 5 levers, some push 3 or 4. It just depends on what their needs are and where they need the most help. So we have some customers that are doing very well with their diabetic population, but need help in their heart failure population. So we get very focused on those quality measures and reporting. Report smart data, not big data. Nobody has time to look at big data anymore. It's all about smart data. So if there's 4 or 5 certain measures that you are really interested in, that's what we'll focus on. And I think that's important because, like I said, nobody has time to look at everything. It's just our time is so valuable. And if this gives you an idea that we do this very meticulously. With each customer, we sit down, we identify the target population, the patient numbers, the timelines, what the expectations are. We identify those points of contact are with you and with us. We do a setup meeting. We do a very intricate statement of work to know exactly what we're going to be looking at and who's responsible and accountable for doing what tasks. We develop marketing collateral that meets your needs. We train your staff and your providers on how we do what we do and what the key points are that get patients attracted to wanting to work with Curant. And then we follow up. We have a launch plan. We have business reviews. We basically walk hand in hand with you through the process to make sure that we address any glitches. We always work in a pilot at the start with a certain patient population, maybe 500 to 1,000 patients in a couple of locations. And then we report results and expand from there. It's a very elegant model. We've really got it down to a science. And our customers are very, very pleased with our work. Our patient retention rate is 98.6%. So our patients trust us. They really enjoy, talking to their patient care coordinator that's individualized and personalized. And quite frankly, sometimes they tell care coordinator things that they wouldn't tell their physician. That happens quite frequently. And we, obviously we take great pride in that level of trust that we develop with our patients and with our accounts. So if you want more information on our services, this is my contact information. slides will be available to you. And, you know, we are very interested in the ACO market. We think we fit in really, really well with what your quality measures are and what the goals and objectives are with these alternative payment models moving forward. So with that being said, I've talked a lot. Hopefully this was helpful. And Laura, I'll turn it over to you to open it up for any questions. And also Jake Haynes is on the line, who is the National Director, and he can assist me in answering any questions as well.
Okay, looks like we had one question come in. What are for ACO 36 to 39, what are the other 12 quality measures affected by medications?
Okay, I would have to, sure. So pretty much all of your at-risk quality measures, also your patient satisfaction quality measures, and preventative health quality measures, some of those. I don't have the list in front of me, but certainly anything to do with heart failure, diabetes, coronary artery disease, vascular disease, all of those are dealing with ARBs, statins, beta blockers, hemoglobin A1Cs. Patient satisfaction is something that we routinely report out and monitor with all of our customers. So I don't have the complete list in front of me, but the number is 16 that we directly will help.
Okay, and does anybody else have any other questions? Looks like that's the only one that I've had come in during the presentation. It looks like we have a follow-up. How do you train your pharmacist? Right.
And Jake, if you're on the line, I know you've been more involved in the actual training than I have, so I'll turn that question over to you. I don't hear him. So I'll do the best I can to address that. So our Director of Clinical Services, Vicki Andros, is responsible, along with our Director of Pharmacy, David Carver. They put all of our clinical pharmacists through a motivational interviewing class, a course. You know, we're very meticulous about who we hire. So all of our clinical pharmacists are screened, they're trained on motivational interviewing. And of course, you know, we make sure that they are experts at medication therapy management. And so, you know, we have no problems finding quality people. They want to work here, and they're a lot more motivated to work at Curant than, say, a retail pharmacy, where their job can be a lot more mundane. So we really don't have any problems finding quality candidates. But the training is done through our Director of Clinical Services, Vicki Andros, and our Director of Pharmacy, David Carver.
Okay. Then she says, as in, do they have to have special MTM training?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And I'm going through to see if we've got any other questions here. Okay, looks like those are all of the questions that we have so far. So thank you so much, Sean and Jake, for taking the time to present this info today. Thank you to everyone who joined us. We'll be sending a follow-up email with contact information if you have any follow-up questions that you'd like to send. Certainly feel free to do that. We'll also include the link to the webinar recording. Please feel free to share the link with anyone who you think might be interested in the information. Watch your email for any upcoming webinar announcements, as we will be hosting webinars monthly. I also wanted to take the opportunity to remind everyone about the FLACO's Fall Conference that will be in Orlando October 13th and 14th, and we'll be releasing the information and conference links later this month. So thank you everyone for your time, and have a great day.
Thanks, Laura.